Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with legendary saxophonist and composer Azar Lawrence on the 2022 CD New Sky. He is bringing in his positive energy in the approaching post-pandemic age with a new CD set for a February 4th release. For him, surviving the COVID pandemic during the last 2 years has been transformative. This project is an optimistic musical soundtrack focusing on the benefits that we've received since the pandemic began. He's got a great story. Enjoy.
Hello, Joseph. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Mr. Lawrence, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Having a good day.
It's great to catch back up with you. The circumstances on planet Earth are vastly different from the last time we spoke.
That's very true. It's true. I don't know if you met Tracy, my manager. She's on the line, too.
Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Hi, Joe. Is it Joseph or Joe?
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
It's Joseph if I'm in trouble. But man, I really enjoy this album. And the thing about what's going on in the world of jazz, I've been really covering this heavily since March of 2020. It's so great to see kind of a revival, to see what's been created behind the scenes and kind of getting out of this pandemic mess that we're in right now. So talk to me a little bit about the brand new album, New Sky.
So New Sky is definitely something that hopefully to help people get their minds together and refresh themselves, aiming at the refreshment of the minds and spirits of the humanity and upliftment of that, of humanity after such a perilous time that we're in. It's still ongoing, but, something of a spark of inspiration. And in terms of the title, A New Sky, which is indicative of the possibilities that have been revealed, in terms of the endless possibilities just from on all levels, I mean, even the PPP, yeah, you know what I'm saying? People have, and just, sky's the limit. I mean, a lot of the walls have been broken down and, new businesses have been started. Just all of those type of concepts are expressed in our title, New Sky, and how the title, the various tracks and their titles are expressed, and love being the healer and the base concept of the whole album is the unification of and expression of altruistic and different forms of love. So.
That was really ultimately, I think, the hope after we got done with the shock of what we've gone through, especially in the beginning, especially in the music community with everything getting canceled. I think the hope was that there would be something that would be lasting, that would reverberate positively throughout the industry and throughout the world at large. And I think that's kind of what you're getting at with this album, is really putting some positivity out there that could be lasting.
That's hitting it on the head. That is it right there in a nutshell. You said it very well.
Well, and I guess to piggyback off of that, how have you been doing? Since it began in March of 2020 to now, how have you been holding up creatively and otherwise?
Well, we recorded this album during this time, over this last year. So it's an expression of the pandemic. I wrote the songs, the majority of the songs, From the Point of Love was from an updated version from the Summer Solstice album in the 70s, and Revelations off of my Speak the Word album, some years ago. So other than that, all the other compositions are directly as a product of the energies of this time, the inspirations that have been gathered have been doing well. We've been doing well. Casey and I have been putting our heads together. I didn't do it alone. I mean, she's the co-writer on some compositions, and we inspire each other, and, it's that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, because, if people just stop and think, there's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot to be grateful for. Just like there's a lot of cushioning that was provided, in many ways from the Most High. And boy, it didn't quite. This thing was unexpected, and it could have been the next depression. And we know how people responded to the last one. on the economic level. And, so we have, things have been going actually well, and resources have been paramount, in our life, in my life, I've seen a lot of good things happen, and there was a lot of creative stuff, fodder to work with, to use to construct, these musical concepts, that come actually through, the vibratory, it responds, it's a vibratory thing. I mean, I'm just an antenna, responds to, some of the hopes, wishes, and needs of the people. That's how I like to think of it. And I used to tell people earlier in my career that, only thing that I can promise is that I can get out of the way and let the Most High come through in terms of, the creativity of it. So I just try to make it a practice of that. So that's what this is, it's speaking for itself in terms of the diversity. Like I said, all in love, from the point of love, I really love you. The theme is hopefully to inspire people's thinking and feelings to embrace the loves.
Yeah. Well, and I guess too, I'm wondering from your perspective, when we start kind of returning more to live music here in 2022, what do you hope we all collectively, like musician and the audience, realizes about the true power of live music that we've largely been away from for a while now?
Yes. Like I said, that's something to be grateful for, and to become more conscious of the need. And, like you said, I mean, hey, those things were kind of restricted, and people are should be, I think overall are hungering for live music to be presented again. I mean, it's one thing to sit in your living room, and people were getting very complacent before, between the TV and every now and then click on a streaming, and, not even concerning themselves about the fact that the musicians need to tour. I mean, it had all turned around to where the sale of the records and all of that kind of thing had flipped, and people needed to tour just even to make a living. Then the pandemic, and that was restricted. One had to become was not only resilient, but very creative to navigate and manage during this particular time, and get to the pot of gold that was, actually presenting harmony through conflict, as I like to refer to. Anytime you have some conflictive energies going on, there's always, a silver or gold lining to situations like that. And one has to condition themselves, hopefully, to use that as their guiding points, realize that there's something to look forward to, and there's a pot of gold through any seemingly negative situation. There's always some positive, new sky type of outcome that can be achieved, that's available.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, as we move forward this year, do you have any hopeful things that are going to start happening as maybe the weather gets warmer and we move on, live shows, any projects going on?
Well, we're actually performing the Azar Lawrence Experiences, which we call our organization, is performing live at Lincoln Center at their Club Dizzy, March 3rd through 6th. So it's a 4-day show there, 2 shows a night. We always do well there in terms of audience crowds and stuff, so we're hoping that it's just the same thing. We've done a few shows, a place called Corazon, and then the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles chain. The owner is a friend of ours, and he has a club, the Roscoe's Jazz Lounge in Long Beach, and we performed there. And all to culminate to our performance at the Hollywood Bowl Festival, formerly known as the Playboy Jazz Festival. And so we're on that lineup, but of course we're in talks with several concerts and festivals, people that were just lining up the scheduling so that, it's a flow.
Also, just last night, Joe, we recorded Azar The Plan. It's an 8-piece band, by the way, and we did 4 songs from the new album, and then 4 of Azar's other songs from his other albums. But we recorded that. We did a video shoot last night.
Right.
Yeah, and we're going to air that this weekend, like on Vimeo, just with a link, and let people as a celebration of New Sky being released. So that'll be on, because we can't play L.A. right now. Yeah, with the being in the Hollywood Bowl. So that's coming out this weekend, actually. A beautiful show we did. We recorded, doing some editing that makes it a little more palatable. Yeah, we did that last night.
Absolutely. Well, before we depart here, I want to know where's the best place that folks can go and buy this album and support you as this year stretches on.
Well, we can start with azarlawrence.com, which is my website. And Tracy, what are some of the other spots?
And so the hard copies, the CDs, vinyl won't be ready until July or August, but we have CDs, so at azarlawrence.com they can get the hard copy stuff, the CD. And then digitally it'll be on Amazon, your normal everywhere, worldwide. So we went with Cobalt AWOL distribution, and so it'll be in 200 territories digitally.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's recorded. We formed a Azar Records, Tracy Azar, and that's the label that it's being released on.
I'm glad you liked it. Azar just let me chime in. He's he wrote these songs so fast. We were sitting here in the pandemic, and Azar sent me over a song. He said, I think I got something. And he sent these songs over, and I mean back to back. These songs came out in maybe 2 weeks. He had this album written. And just beautiful music, and we kept it true to the demos, because the demos he wrote for it was so incredible, and so we kept it true to that. And like he said, we were focusing on putting some love back in this world. Send these songs out there to hug everybody up. Give them a hug, and I hope you felt like you got loved up on when you listened to it, because there's a bunch of love in there that we're trying to get out to the world. Yeah.
And good for you. We need it, and this is wonderful. It's so hopeful to get this out. It's so wonderful from my perspective to see the jazz community coming back stronger than ever. And again, I'm so glad that I get to profile this on Neon Jazz. Great to catch up with you. Thank you for opening up about this, and good luck as we move forward.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate you. Okay.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats and veterans in New York City, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Azar for his time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.